Righto guys, well the wait's over. This is the mystery machine. Last week in the video I talked about having a left of field machine, and I certainly never thought the day would come that I would have a battery mower here at my place, more so given the fact that I've got such a large area. But Toro Australia were good enough to supply some machines so we can do our mulching versus catching experiment. That will kick off more or less next season after winter, because obviously now we're heading into some cooler seasons. But in the meantime, we're going to do some other things with it. We'll have a look around this today. We've had a little intro video there. We'll point out a few key features. We'll give it a run on this Buffalo. Now, not a lot of growth on it, but the colour has improved out of sight with the fertilizer that we put down the other week, so great response to that. One of the things I am going to do with this, now rather than just you guys sit there and watch me talk about this mower that's been supplied to me, I've decided that I'm going to actually loan this to a couple of people, a couple of friends. I've got one in mind who's got some Kikuyu, so we're going to trial it on Kikuyu, and also we'll go around to Shane's place and we'll try it out on his lawn, which is obviously Buffalo. Perfect mower for sort of the longer cut areas, and I'd be interested to get some feedback from people who probably never considered a battery mower either. So it'd be interesting to see what they sort of think about it, and they're free to say whatever they want. If they like it, they're free to say so. If they don't, I'm happy to say that they don't, and I'm happy to hear them out and put them on camera, etc. So that's the plan. We'll see if this is a viable option or not. But in the meantime, let's have a quick look over some of the features of it. Right, one of the great features of this machine that I think is it's got onboard mulching. So basically there's no bung to insert. It's just a matter of pushing in this little button here, sliding the lever all the way to the top, and now you're in mulching mode, and obviously back down the bottom here for catching mode. So no plugs to worry about. It's all on board. Okay, so another cool feature that a lot of American machines have is the side discharge port. Now, not really common on Australian mowers, but these guys, most of their mowers are sort of a 3-in-1 system. So we just safety catch here, lift him up, and then we can slide in this little adapter here, and hey presto, side discharge. Worth noting though, when you're operating side discharge, we put it into recycling mode. Shuts off the back flap there, everything comes out the side. Righto, so when we flip him up on his tail, you see once again, very common with a lot of American mowers, they do run a bar blade. Now these are the sorts of blades that can certainly be sharpened when they get a bit dull. They're a nice thick meaty sort of a blade, and it's got little winglets on the end here, which just also help assist to break up the bits of grass and help mulch better when it's in mulching mode. Let's have a quick talk about capacities and how long it lasts and all this sort of stuff. Now, I'm certainly no expert when it comes to battery products, so just bear with me while I muddle through this. So it runs a 6 amp hour battery, and it is a 324 watt hour battery. So what does that mean? Not really much idea. The statistics are though, it takes 150 minutes to charge this battery from empty. It'll give you a run time of 40 minutes, which equates to about 1/3 of an acre. So under normal mowing conditions, obviously I don't think that if you're mowing, foot long grass, you're going to get that length of time out of it. But under normal mowing conditions, you'll mow up to 1/3 of an acre, or 40 minutes. So the area we're going to be predominantly using is obviously much smaller than that. It runs in at 100 square meters. But as I said, we're going to put it through some other paces and see if it is really a viable option. Well, I suppose there's not much left here really to talk about now, other than let's chuck the bag on it. We'll kick it in the guts, and we'll do a few runs and see how it goes. There's not going to be much come off this, but yeah, it'll give you a bit of an idea of noise and things like that. Righto, when it comes to starting these things, it's pretty straightforward, and no matter how easy a petrol mower is to start, nothing will be as easy as this. It's worth pointing out also, these have a safety mechanism here. This is a removable, let's call it key. Once this key comes out, you can't start it because this technically is the starter. So if you've got it stored in the shed, etc., without this in the, let's call it ignition, without this sitting in here, nothing can happen. So as soon as that's in there now, you've got a battery under there, the machine's live, the machine's ready to go. All we need to do is pull our safety bar forward, press this button, and that's it. That's all there is to it. So let's get the catcher on it and give it a go. Righto, first impressions. First thing I notice, it's really, really quiet. It's very light and manoeuvrable. It is a wide mower, it is a big mower, but it is very manoeuvrable. That's a big word for this time of day. The other thing I noticed is because there's no petrol, there's no motor, there's no fumes, there's no internal combustion motor, I should say. What I can notice is as I'm cutting the grass, and look, there's not much coming off it, but what I do notice is you can actually smell the fresh cut grass as it's getting cut, which is something that you don't really notice as much with a petrol powered mower. So that stood out to me. But it's a very, very calming, very relaxing machine to use. So even though I've only cut about 10 meters so far, yeah, early days yet, but so far so good. First mow with the 60 volt Toro recycler. Surprised, pleasantly surprised. Yeah, we only trimmed a tiny little bit off. In fact, we'd probably be lucky to be probably a 9 litre bucket of grass in the bag here. But given this time of year, it is a little bit hard to find grass to mow. I will be very keen to get this into something a bit longer and a bit thicker and a bit heavier and see how it performs. I believe it has a 2-speed motor, or a variable speed motor perhaps, that during heavier, more thicker grass, the machine will actually increase revs and tackle longer grass that way. Now, I don't know if I mentioned earlier before, obviously this machine is self-drive, so you don't actually push it at all, you just basically steer it along. So look guys, you will see this a lot more on the channel. If there's anything in particular you want to see this do, or me do with it, put in the comments below. If you've got questions about it, put them in the comments below. But yeah, this is our new toy. This is what we're going to use on the Buffalo, and we're going to share it around with a few of my mates and see what they think of it. Look guys, have a fantastic week. We'll catch you next time here on the Aussie Lawn.